Hello, my name is Rob Morales, and this is Unedited. Hello, every Thursday or so, we have a show called Unedited. We talk to small businesses, entrepreneurs about their business and the things they got going on in life. And today is no different. If I may introduce my next guest. Her name is the Dapper herself, Janet Hernandez. Dapper J, yes, she's here. Everybody's been waiting for you to come here. I see the excitement just exuding within you. Let me turn the music down. Getting a little excited. Why are you nervous?
No, I'm not nervous. But it is pretty cool to hear you. I love how you sound.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it just sounds so cool, the energy.
I didn't realize I sounded that good. Well, you got to on these shows. So every Thursday we talk to small business entrepreneurs about their business, like I said, and Dapper J is here to talk about not website design, because I was officially clarified. I was told that it is not website design. What is it that you do, Miss? Want to tell everybody?
Yeah, so I help businesses basically develop their brand identity, and so that's visually how a business appears in the market, right? So it can start with your logo design all the way to website design, right? But it's all the marketing and advertising that you put out there, making sure that that image is consistent and that it portrays the correct message for your target audience, basically.
You know, marketing is pretty hard. So my experience with marketing, you always have to be creative. You always have to kind of like think of something new all the time. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah, so the way that I do it is I ask, I have this questionnaire where I ask clients and I really make them dig down into who they are, what they do, why they do it, who their target audience is, because that's very important. It's not just about you, but it's about the service or the product that you provide and what it does for the others, right? Yeah. And so I try to find what's unique about your business, and I try to portray that visually and create something that's going to stand out, basically. Yeah,
you actually were ahead of our logo design. You did our redesign, which I appreciate. I guess I didn't pull that up, but I guess I can. It's not to your liking, though.
It was just, that was just kind of like updating your concept. I didn't really dig around different concepts, but I just made it look more appealing, right?
Oh, this isn't the whole thing. I guess I can go to the website for us, RCO Network. So if you're on RCO Network, and you can kind of see it in the corner. This wasn't planned, so I just had it there. So you designed this. The committee liked it, and so we went and we ran with the logo, and so I appreciate that, Ms. Yeah. But we did talk about marketing, and I think it's been a challenge, for me as an individual, because this isn't just my primary business. My primary business is real estate, and when it comes to real estate agents and everything else, there's so many people out there, and some of them are. There's a lot of competition.
Too much.
And that's really every industry, honestly. But with real estate, for me, it's just like I had to come up with like concepts that promoted me more than it really was the business, I guess. And so I guess, what is your inspiration, and kind of what do you do to kind of always change things, or is it what is it?
My inspiration is always the client. I always make sure to create that relationship with the client, get to know them, and that's how I come up with something that's always different. Like, it's not just random. It's never random. It's specific to that client, the experience, what I see that they need, basically.
Would it be intentional? Is that an appropriate word to say?
No.
Oh.
No, it's intentional.
So you've come from a place where, I think, how many years have you been in business now?
So it depends what you technically call business. I think I was in business before all these before the entrepreneur term was thrown out there, I think. Yeah. But I didn't really start a business per se. Well, I kind of did, but I never thought about that. It just kind of landed on my lap, right? Yeah. I was working for an advertising agency, and the owner just closed down randomly and moved to another state. And I had just started working there. I had only been there like about a year and a half, and her clients were kind of upset that she was just leaving them hanging. Yeah. And they said, well, can we just work with Janet? Can we just continue to work with Janet? We like her work. And so that's how I started my business back in El Paso, Texas. But the market over there wasn't really dynamic. There wasn't a lot to do. So moving out here has really changed, the level of the stuff that I do, and it's really helped me grow.
Do you think there's a good culture out here? Because like I moved, I grew up in Douglas. And there's somebody else here. I grew up in Douglas, and when I moved to Tucson, obviously going from a small town to like a medium-sized small town. I would say Tucson's a small town, but to me that was huge. There's just so much culture there. The Hispanic culture is very vivid there. And then when I moved from Tucson to Phoenix, it's just kind of blah. I don't feel like that. The culture, sense of culture, or at least if it is, it's very sparse and sporadic.
You mean like your culture or like what culture?
I don't know what culture I am. I feel very disconnected, and that's actually a topic that maybe I can talk to you about. I feel completely disconnected from the Hispanic population, I guess, because I don't really. I mean, I grew up around it, but I don't speak the language. I think that's really the case.
Yeah.
And I think language really has a lot to do with the identity with that culture.
Yeah, a lot.
Because you're Hispanic, right?
I am. Yeah.
Hernandez?
Yes. No, wait, it's Hernandez.
Oh, God.
But when I moved to Phoenix, I had to start saying Hernandez because nobody would say Hernandez. Everybody would say Hernandez. So I changed.
I do that too. I do like when I'm talking. So I was, okay, I'm having work done on my house. And the drywaller guys are there. And I feel compelled to say Morales versus Morales. And I'm just, because they're talking Spanish to me. I don't know what they're saying. And I really try, and the words just all blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But for you, that the Hispanic culture is you're very connected to, right?
Yeah, I would say so. And it actually you're right, it actually took a while after I moved out here. Like for the first year, it's, I didn't meet any Hispanics. It was hard to meet the Hispanic culture. Yeah.
They're all over the place.
It was like a whole year like that,
oh, boy.
Then I finally found the spot and I, started, making friends and all that. It was actually a taco stand. So then that's where I met my wife too.
Oh yeah, she's a little hottie, man. Do you mind if I pull her up?
No, go ahead.
The other person in our room might want to see what she looks like.
Is that right?
Not that she's into that, but she's kind of into that. Let me see if
all girls will say, regardless of sexuality. Oh, sorry.
You're on the show. You're not supposed to be on the show.
Sorry.
This is live, by the way. So this is you, your wife, and I forgot she works here too. I forgot her name. Oh, I guess I should.
That's not
hold
my
on.
wife.
Hold on a second. There it is.
That's not my wife.
No, there she's not. That is not your wife.
No.
If Grisella's watching, there she is. If Grisella's watching, that is not you. I will claim blame for all of that.
Was it just because she was Hispanic?
I think I did. Yeah. But I'm trying to find. Oh, there she is, right here.
Yeah, that's her
on the left.
Mm-hmm.
If I may.
Sister. Yep.
And that's her sister. Your sister.
That's my sister on her side.
Oh, okay. So I did want to go back to that sense of culture. As I've been here, I think I've struggled with that myself, and I really don't identify with the Hispanic culture all too well. And when developing the first stages of RCO Network, it was like we had a lot of Hispanics coming, and I think a lot of it
was that because like your name.
Okay. I mean, I look Filipino, but. But it's really hard. It was really hard for me because I think I carry a lot of that.
You didn't grow up that way.
Correct. Yeah. I grew up with a dad that was basically trying to whitewash his culture. He changed his name from Enrique to Henry. And then named us all American names, like my brother's Henry, I'm Robert, and my sister Cindy. It's not. I don't even know what the Spanish equivalent is. But so you came from El Paso, and is El Paso one of those really heavy Hispanic?
Very Hispanic. It's a border town, and I would say it's like almost 90% Hispanic. Probably less now.
Yeah.
But yeah, everybody speaks Spanish. You go into a store, they're Spanish speaking. You go into a restaurant, they're Spanish speaking. Everything's in English and in Spanish. So, yeah.
Well, and the reason I bring that up is because, sometimes what we identify with is our comfort zone. And it's very hard for us to kind of bridge away from that comfort zone. That goes into marketing. That goes into a lot of things because, we may have found one thing that works and then we try to emulate that over and over again. But over time, it's just like, well, is that what they're all about? And I don't know what that is. But that's a lot of marketing, right? Sometimes we get stuck in that niche and we don't necessarily branch out. And it's very uncomfortable when we do. And that all brings me back to kind of you being on the show and, you stepping out of your bounds. Because we've had those discussions before, too.
Okay.
Feeling uncomfortable about, wherever you're at on that present state, even coming on the show, like I said.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah. Yeah. This is new for me. It's different. It's something that... So, like, I basically hide behind the computer and I let my work speak for itself. So I don't like to do sales. I don't like to put myself out there in the middle of, what do you call it? Like center of attention, kind of like, I don't like any of that stuff. So.
But you're all dressed up and wear a tie all the time.
Yes, I do, but I guess it's the speaking.
Yeah.
Like I can do it socially. I can connect with people socially and all that, but I don't like to talk about, the business and all that. Like, I think it's something that, when I'm in front of the computer and I create something, that's how I let my work, show itself, basically.
Yeah, and see, I am very much the same way. I'll create a video, be all excited about it, or take a photo and be like, I want to show people, but then I guess I'm concerned or afraid of the reprisal or the critique. I just want everybody to love everything I'm doing, but sometimes it doesn't always work out that way.
Well, because in my case, it's not about people loving it. It's about it, serving a purpose for the business and the client, right? Like, it's not so much, it's not so much, it's not art per se.
Yeah.
It's about visually communicating something, right?
Yeah.
And so a lot of and I do have a particular style. A lot of the stuff that I design is pretty much, like how I'm looking right now.
Like how you dress?
Yeah, how I dress. That's how I came up with the name Think Dapper. So when you apply that to business branding, it basically gives you like the sense of legitimacy. It gives you the sense of professionalism, that you mean business, you're serious. Like, it doesn't mean you have to be like boring.
Yeah.
But it does give you like that little edge that you need to compete in the market.
Yeah, and I thought about that, and it's a course of my journey too. With the CEO Network, a lot of what we do is trying to put this air of like we have everything together. From, the staff having all the, like being in uniform to the presentation, the videos, how clean it is. But at the end of the day, we're all just people.
Yeah, and it's interesting that you mentioned uniform, because to me, like the way I dress, it's not really a uniform. It's an expression of who I am. It's how I feel comfortable, and it's something that I feel very blessed to be able to do, because I think, a long time ago, this wouldn't be possible, right? Like I wouldn't be able to like be out in the streets wearing this, and be okay, or that'd be okay with society, basically. Does that make sense?
Be accepted? Yeah,
be accepted. And so that was one of the things that, really helped me when I moved out here as well, because I felt a lot more comfortable being myself. Whereas in El Paso, I felt kind of like closeted, kind of like I couldn't really be fully me, and I hadn't really discovered, fully me. And when I moved out here, and I went to my first gay brunch, per se, and I saw so many different people who didn't care about anything but who they were. Like, they were free to express themselves. And so, moving out here slowly, I started to just bring this out, and I just feel so comfortable in it, just.
And so I guess you never have one of those bad days where you're just like, oh, fuck it, I'm just going to wear sweats. I'm just going to, I don't have any clients today. I'm just going to the office.
Well, when I go to the office, no, I don't have one of those days. I really love dressing up. I just, even like when I try to dress down, it's like I'm still dressed up.
Well, Gabby says she likes how you look. Sharp, like always.
Oh, hi, Gabby.
Yeah, Gabby's on right now. But again, we're talking about brand identity, and really that's your brand, right? If I go to your website, it looks really clean and crisp. I'm going to go back here real quick. If I go back here, that's you. Look at that. It's all clean and crisp. Very contemporary, I would say. The website stands out. It's very kind of, I like the colors, like gold and kind of black and white.
Yeah. And it's kind of like, I don't know, have you ever seen the show Mad Men? You probably haven't.
Oh, I'm on season 5 right now. I've had to watch.
What?
I watched it all over again.
Okay, that's awesome.
What do you mean?
That's awesome. I don't know. I never pictured you watching that show.
Oh no, Don Draper, yeah.
Oh yes, he's my inspiration.
So can I call you Don Dapper?
Sure.
Or whatever. No, but going back to your website, I just want to highlight here. So think-dapper.com, not Think Dapper, but think-dapper. You can check out what Janet has going on her website. If there was something to highlight regarding, what you do specifically, what is your go-to in relation to what you do? Like what is the one prominent thing that you can offer people watching or your clients?
Okay. So developing your brand identity starts with the logo design, but it's not just the logo design, right? It's the meaning behind the logo. It's all the fonts and the colors, the style. Like what you said, when I look at your website, I see the style. I think about this, and it's when you think about a brand, you get a certain feeling from it, right? Like, and you associate with that brand, and you can recognize that brand. So it gives you recognition, it gives you awareness, and so my go-to is, so if you go to like my portfolio section, is to make sure your marketing collateral gives that same image, and it makes you have that consistent branding. So click on the first one, like Chapala Group.
So this is something you've designed before?
Yes. I think you have to click on the name.
Chapa.
So they didn't have a brand before, and they've been in business for a long time, and it was all over the place. And so they wanted to design something that connected with the Hispanic community, but also, showed their experience and their many years of service. And so everything kind of, is coordinated. It gives them that identifiable factor.
Yeah, I see that. Very vivid colors on, some of the photos. And do you take some of the photos too, or is that somebody else?
So I coordinate the photo shoots.
Okay.
So I make sure that, we have the inspiration. I tell them what to wear. I tell them, how to pose. And
Heather Gonzalez. Let me check out my competition. Hold on a second. And so you created the logo, and you've done...
Yeah, everything's specific to the client. So, like, she wanted something that connected with families, and she felt like she always made, like, a connection with families.
Yeah.
And so she wanted something that was kind of heartfelt, and that's how I came up with the heart concept here.
And you came up with the color palette, you did everything else.
Mm-hmm. So then if you look at her realtor signs, they all look consistent. I also did some postcard. I did social media for her. It's not up there, but...
That looks really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Gabby says beautiful work as well. So.
Yes. Gabby, you're my fan.
Gabby's on it. She's always on it. She's always watching. So, and so we have about 10 more minutes left in the show today. But, I did want to kind of go into you as a person and kind of your motivations and the things that drive you, because I do believe there's a lot of people out there, especially in the starter stages. You've been in business how long again?
Oh, yeah.
Roughly?
So that was questionable. 2009?
2009.
Yeah.
So a good 10 years. And I think a lot of people who start these businesses end up only being in it about a year or 2 years because they get really discouraged in all these things. Mm-hmm. And for somebody to kind of be where you're at, it takes a long time. Okay. And there's a lot of discouraging things. And, has there been things in the way that have discouraged you, but yet you kind of continued forward?
Yeah, it's a scary thing sometimes because there's no consistency as far as, revenue or like, this... It's not like when you get a paycheck every month and you know how much you're going to make, right?
Yeah.
It can be like a roller coaster, right?
Absolutely.
And so that part has always been challenging. I think even to this day it's a little bit challenging. But once I got a taste of this, I just couldn't go back. Like I think it's really hard when, you leave a situation where somebody's always telling you what to do. And then, like... and what's weird is that I didn't even do it for that long.
Yeah.
I worked in an advertising agency for about a year and a half. I mean, yeah, I've been working since I was 16, but it was just little jobs here. But as far as my career goes, I worked at an advertising agency for about a year and a half after graduating from college. And I never thought about owning my own business. But once I was there, I just loved it. I love being able to provide a service to my clients and being able to create, quality work and making that my living, because I do enjoy it. I love what I do.
Yeah. And it shows, the things that you've done that I've seen in the past, you're really engaged in, I do believe in the perspectives that your clients have. And sometimes it's kind of twofold, right? You really don't see something until somebody else sees it. We were talking about that before the show. I was like, hey, how do you identify yourself? And she's like, she struggled with that. And, I think that's one of the challenges that we have as entrepreneurs is we focus in on outward stuff, like how we're going to pay the bills, what direction are we going to take the business. But the internal journey is really what makes us stronger and really kind of gives us some direction, not so much where we're going, but gives us more internal direction and kind of connects us to what we're trying to do.
Yeah, I mean, that internal journey has also been, something that's always played a dynamic in my life. I think I grew up feeling like not accepted, and it wasn't even because like I was gay, because I didn't even know I was gay until like I think I was like 18 when I realized it. But other people kind of guessed or knew, but I was just kind of naive. I didn't really know about that stuff. But going back to that internal journey, like for some reason, like I've always been really hard on myself, and I've always had this idea of like, or fear of being a failure or not measuring up, right?
Yeah.
And so I think being in this place has always given me the opportunity to step up to the plate, to do something for me, like to really like make something out of my life, basically.
Yeah. And I think that's really the internal struggle we all have. And the one thing that I would like to highlight everybody here is that that's something we all go through. And the nice part about having a network or being around people who are very like-minded is that that you're not alone in all this stuff. There are other people out there, that struggle just as much as you, but you isolate yourself so much that, you think you're the only one.
Interesting.
Oh, you never feel that way? I feel that way all the time, man. I'm insecure. There's so many moments where I'm insecure. I don't know what it's like to, I guess I don't know what it's like to be gay, but I don't know what it's like to be Hispanic, even though I've been surrounded by it my whole life.
Mm-hmm. I think that brings up another good point, because I think this is the place where I feel secure. Doing my work, that's where I feel secure. And so I think that's also what's helped me, like you said, stay throughout all these years.
Yeah.
This is like my place. This is the one thing that I feel proud of, that I feel like I can do, if that makes any sense.
No, I mean, it makes complete sense. And sometimes we do, and we hide in that bunker, and we've talked about that too, where you kind of isolate yourself because that's what makes you feel good.
Yeah.
And so sometimes the judgment of others is best unseen. We'd rather just judge ourselves and judge our own work, and I guess hope that everybody likes it. And if we're talking about Mad Men, so if anybody watches Mad Men out there, when Don Draper did a presentation and he didn't like it, nobody liked it. It was just, or when certain people didn't like it, he got very upset and frustrated and angry.
Huh.
Have you ever?
It shouldn't be that way.
Well, have you had those moments though?
In college. But yeah, I mean, there's been times where I think clients just are very stuck on their own mindset, and they're not willing to take your advice. Or I think, as entrepreneurs nowadays, there's so many entrepreneurs, and sadly, they do not take marketing into consideration, or they don't budget for it. And aside from that, they think that it's something that they can do themselves, when it shouldn't be that way.
Yeah.
I don't know why, they just learned that I'm going to design my own logo, I'm going to design my own business card, I'm going to design my own flyer, when it is a profession. I went to school for this, and it's not just, I'm not just creating random stuff. There is kind of like a philosophy and a science to this, and a skill as well. And so that is really hard when clients are like, well, I want this or I want that. And I'm like, I suggest it to them, but if they don't want to take my suggestion, then I just kind of go with it. But I think I forgot your question, but it was something like that.
Oh, no, that's fine. Yeah. No, and so what I was thinking of and what kind of brought up is I do photography and I do video work too. And I would say the hardest part is when you do some work and you spend, a video will take me anywhere from 6 to 8 hours to put together.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And then by the end of it, when you present it, you'll kind of, you wait for oh my God, that was so good. But then you get nothing back. Mm-hmm. or they pay you and you're like, oh, well, what was the feedback? Did you like it? I don't know. You paid me. Are you going to come back? I guess the true testament, for me, and I don't know if it's the same for you, is when they actually start using it. If I took a photo and they actually put it on their profile picture, it's like, oh, okay, they liked it enough to do it, and
that's rude of them though. They didn't respond.
Oh, that's 90% of the photos and videos I do. And it's just something you kind of get used to. But at first, you get that kind of sense of critique. It's like, oh, well, am I good enough? Did I they didn't say anything? Did I do a good enough job? But But then you see them using them, I'm like, okay, good. I guess I feel better now.
Yeah. So I think in the past like couple years or so, like I would say 3 to 4, I kind of started to realize that it's not about me, and it's not about like if I'm a good, graphic designer or not. It's about being able to provide the client what they need to promote their business, right? And I feel like I am an expert in that. And so if I, give you the time of my day to dig into your business, really get to know who you are, and I know the things that are going to help you stand out, and I give you all of that advice and I give you all of that suggestion, that's pretty much all I can do. But it's not about me. It really just, in my case, it's not about me.
Yeah, and I think the best takeaway, and we'll talk about takeaways for you, the best takeaway for me is like if you're at the service of somebody else, you just serve. And you appreciate the time that they allowed you to serve them, even if it doesn't come back with a sense of positivity.
So the one thing that I have encountered recently is because I have sort of bumped up my pricing.
Yeah.
Because I used to charge.
Well, it's inflation. It's inflation, man. You got to start charging more. Somebody told me that already.
Well, I think as a woman, like I was always undercharging, and I was always like not valuing, the what I was really providing for my clients, and so I kind of like skimmed down on that, and I said, okay, I'm gonna work with these type of clients, the clients who really need this, who really are ready to go to the next level, right? And so there's been a couple, I would say at least one, that they read the proposal, everything's good, they're on board, right? They understand. They've worked with other designers. They've been dissatisfied. And I give them this whole, like, even from, like, naming your business to your slogan to, like, the whole thing, right? And I think that sometimes they're like, whoa, wait, how much? Like, are you sure? Like, I don't know. I don't feel comfortable anymore, So I think sometimes, like, that's what really gets a little bit hard, because people don't know how much this is worth. And so, like, for you, like, creating a video, that is a lot of work, and that has a lot of value, a lot. And but we've come so used to this stuff that we think that it's just like, oh, I know how to do that. I can just go on the computer and click here, and there it is. Yeah. And there's all these apps, right? But I think that, like, if you have a certain, like, vision about, not just vision, but a strategy behind what you do. Yeah. And that person is going to make money off of this. So it does have a lot of value behind it.
No, and I would agree with that too. So I think as you grow up, and I mean not physically, but as you grow up in your business, that evolution, you start to understand your worth. And then I think sometimes comparing your work to other people's and seeing how much they charge is like, mine's way better than that. I should be charging more than them. It's that development of who you are and that road, that journey that you're on. But is there anything, as I pull up your contact information, Miss, is there anything that you would like to share? Anything on top of mind? Anything that you want to share to the audience right
now? No, that's very random.
What's random about that? What have you learned today? Or what do we want to
share? Yeah, I don't know. This whiskey's good.
Whiskey is always good, but that's not the point of today's show. But it is a good point. I will point that out. So if you want to follow Dapper J, Jeanette Hernandez, did I say that right?
You sounded very Spaniard.
If I may, I can sound landscaper too, but if I may put you up on here, put you on blast. If you want to go down to Facebook, Dapper Branding on Facebook, you can check out her there. I think Dapper right there. Also go to her website if I'll have to go back to the beginning. It's right there. Think Dapper. So think-dapper.com. I guess I'll go to the homepage since we're here. But I want to thank you, Miss. My computer's slow too, by the way. So don't blend in, stand out. Think Dapper.
Yes. That's important.
So I want to thank you, Miss, for joining me today. I mean, I know, like I said, I know it was a big feat for you to come on and kind of share yourself. It's not, I learned myself, you can't always hide behind the computer, and really, yes, your work does speak for yourself, but people got to know that you do the work.
Yeah,
so marketing is huge.
It's something that I've needed for quite a while. Like I've had, a few opportunities that I've kind of passed up, or like people have asked me to do certain things and I've been really hesitant to do it. Yeah. But I think it needs to be done. So, yeah, thank you.
Well, anytime you want to come on, I want to thank you for being an RCO Network member. You've been with us for quite a while now, and we've shared moments, a lot of tears and laughs and everything else in between. So I appreciate you, Miss, for coming on. And next week, maybe, I don't know. Every Thursday or so, we're back here talking to small businesses and entrepreneurs about their business, things they got going on, unedited here on CO Network. Rob Morales. Jeanette Hernandez. We'll catch you guys next time. Oh boy.